Is this the high quality axe with a low price we've all been looking for? Today we're going to find out. Adds nothing and takes away so much. Very sharp. Now, for the star of today's axe show. What do we have here? What is this? I'll bet many of you haven't seen this before. I know this is new to me. This is made by a company called Marvels. Marvels. You can see right there, stamped in there. Now, I didn't know that these axes were still in production. I, of course, know the story of the classic Marvels axe, which had kind of an integrated sheath, like aluminum or metal sheath that would fold up and cover the blade, protect the blade. And those are classics, but I figured that they were long since out of production. And this here is being produced under the same name. No doubt, most likely the company has changed hands and it's not what once originally was, but nonetheless, here we have it. What do we have here? We've got a hand-forged 1045 carbon steel head. We've got an American hickory handle. We've got acceptable grain orientation, and actually a really well-hung head. You can see right in there, look. You can see how the hickory there is very evenly squeezed out. We have the axe head sitting properly on the shoulder. We have a really nice wide wedge in there with proper grain orientation and mushroomed out. You can see that's in there really tight. We got a nice round step-in wedge. Those are nice, unless you want to try to get one out. Love the shape, very classic, small hatchet shape. It's really nice. Another thing that I really noticed, which is attention to detail and an additional expense, is that we have a proper hand swell, a little palm swell right there. So why is that unique? What makes that so special? Well, it means that they had to start with a thicker piece of wood. I mean, some manufacturers, to really cut costs, here's the Baco, for example, look how skinny that is. Why do they do that? They do that because they can start with a much thinner piece of material, thus having much less waste. It costs more, it takes a third more, if not more, material to do a handle like this, because all of this that they take down in this taper is all turns into shavings and sawdust. So this is a custom detail. But I'm going to save the best part of this for last. So how's the edge look? I'm surprised. I'm really surprised what a nice grind this is. You know, to be honest with you, this doesn't need any work. It's actually sharp. It's usable out of the box. So this particular sample is. Is it up to our normal standards? Well, of course not. You know, very few axes are. But with just minimal work on a stone, which we'll do here in just a moment before we take it out and test it, and to see if all that glitters is gold, I don't have to reprofile this. I don't have to put a file on this. I can simply touch this up with a stone, and I'm going to have a very nice edge. One thing that's kind of unique about those little marbles is that it carries more weight than I thought it would. You know, when I grabbed it, it has a very thin, petite handle, but a nice feel. I mean, certainly not up to the standards of the Grand Forest Brooks axe. You know, the handle perfection right there, the small forest axe. But I think it's very good. It's actually very, very good. And being American hickory, it's a beautiful shape. You know, look at the bulb, how it kind of bulges out there. It's very nice. But back to the petiteness, I thought it felt very petite, but it carries so much weight. But where's all that weight coming from? But when I look at it, I can see, you know, we compare it there to the forest axe, right here. It is much smaller, but it's got a lot of steel right there. But really tapers down to a nice cut. You can see right there, those are similar cutting edges. This comes from a company who knows how to grind an axe. What I'm seeing here is that the Marvels company, whoever they are, they know how to grind an axe as well. And it's a great shape. So, a couple competitive options here, just to give you an idea of the size and scale. Again, Grand Forest Brooks small forest axe, you can see the two there together. It is smaller, but usable. Handle, quite a bit different in the handle. We got another 2.5, 3 inches on the Brooks. Here is the Baco, the small hatchet. You can see. Let's swap these here. So similar in size, very similar in shape, similar in weight. but the Marbles has 1.5 inches on it. You know, Jack's little axe right there, classic American, small little American axe. You know, got a nice long handle. You know, definitely a usable handle on it. And then last, here's another competitive option: the Swedish hand-forged Husqvarna axe, carpenter's axe, which is a much heavier axe. But just to give you an idea of some scale. So I'm saving the good part of this, the best part. This is hand forged in El Salvador. El Salvador. Had a little sticker right there. It said El Salvador. You want to know what I like best about this? What do you think this would be? What do you think this is worth? What do you think a manufacturer would cost them to forge it, hand forge it, create, import American hickory handles, put it together, shape a nice handle? What would that cost? What do you think? How about 20 bucks? $19. I just saw it on Amazon. I know. I don't know how they could do it. You can see it's hand forged. I don't know to what extent, you know, but obviously it does have the imperfections. It does have the side of it. 19 bucks? Is it too good to be true? Well, the proof's in the pudding. We've been down this road before, haven't we? So, let's put it here on the table. Let's put a beautiful little 1000 grit polished edge on it and take it down into the forest and see if this is the holy grail of cheap, affordable, not cheap, I'm not going to say cheap yet, affordable, high quality, small axe hatchet. So again, in my opinion, the best way to sharpen an axe or hatchet is this. Take a small block of wood, that'll hold it up there at kind of an angle, and then I'll take my jack clamp here, and I'm going to clamp that down nice and tight, somewhere in the middle of the handle, not too close, because I want to be able to work. Maybe even turn it away a little bit. And using the stones from Edge Pro in Hood River, which is the best way. I start with I think this is like a 320 grit or something like that. We'll rough polish this edge out a little bit. Kind of keeping track of how much time we spend, how many passes we spend on one side, and repeating the process on the other. Now again, I store my stones in a little plastic container with kerosene or diesel, so that they're just saturated with it, and that's what you want. You can use water too. Now the sharpening is complete here. 300 to the 1000 grit finish. A very high polished, very sharp, shaving edge. I did have to take a file to it on the upper section right here. Was a little bit thick. I could have got it down with the stone, but it was taking a long time, so with an 8-inch mill bastard file, I just took that down a little bit, and I've got a nice, consistent, even edge there. It took very little work, just a few strokes. You can see there, very sharp, and staying pretty much true to the factory grind. Again, let's go out and test it out. One last thing though, that I really like about this, is they didn't put any varnish or wax on the handle. It's just simply raw American hickory. Why do I like that? I like that because it's ready for a proper treatment, which is boiled linseed oil. Just put that right on there. Don't have to sand anything off. You know, manufacturers don't need to put that stuff on there. I don't know why they think they need to put lacquer on a handle, which does nothing but give a man or woman blisters, and it is a waste of resources, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, it's just completely unnecessary. It contributes negatively to the environment, and it adds nothing and takes away so much. So good job to Marbles for that. Well, that's it. Alright, I think it's ready for test. Razor sharp, and I'll take it out there and we'll try it on the same hard Doug fir limb that we used on the Baco axe review, and then we'll do an analysis and find out, is this the $20 axe we've all been looking for. Alright, so here we go. We've got a big old mean branch from a Doug fir tree. Branches are pretty dense, pretty, I mean, it's not like cutting oak or maple, but it's the same thing that we tried the Baco on. So it'll take me 3 or 4 minutes to chop through this, so let's get on it and we'll see what the outcome is. Good sized limb, and I made a point to cut through a couple of limbs, knots in there, and these knots on these fir trees could be just as hard as glass. So let's look at the edge here. The axe is warm from the friction, and no chipping, no rolling, and still sharp. How'd that edge hold up there for us? Razor sharp, shaving sharp. After cutting through 2 hard knots and a big Doug fir limb. Well, what conclusion do we draw from this? Not too bad, huh? $20. Marbles. Hand forged American hickory handle. No rolling, no chipping. You see, Baco? That's all you have to do. It can be done. $20. It can be done.
It's pretty hard to believe they could produce such a fine axe for such a low price. Well, that's a great value. If you can get your hands on one, boy, I'd recommend you do it. So, I'd like to invite you over to my main channel. If you're finding me for the very first time, you can go to my main channel at Wranglerstar by clicking on the picture there. If you're watching on mobile, you can go over by clicking on the end card. Look for the little question mark or the little insignia in the top right. I did a 2-part series of videos of how to attempt to get 300,000 miles out of your old truck. We talk about this a lot on the channel, about being smart with our money, and I've always said you have no business buying a brand new truck if you can't go write a check for it. Several people have taken issue with me on that, but I stand by it. If you have borrowed money from someone that you don't have, from someone you don't know, to buy something you can't afford, then I will stand by it. You have no business doing that. And get yourself something you can pay for. Why make payments and interest and make someone else rich off of your own hard work? You should be keeping the majority of your money. You should be receiving the fruits of your labors, not someone else charging usury on you. That's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.